Alrighty. Hmm.
Man.
It says we're live.
It says we're live.
It says we are live. Hey, I got an email informing me that we are live. Hey, we're live. And hello, everyone. Let me put this out there to the Twitterverse. And the Facebook verse.
Did you just say you're putting it out into the metaverse?
The metaverse. The social media verse. The multiverse.
No, it's legit the metaverse.
Put out into the multiverse. And then Earth 2 Geek, who hates AEW, can come in. Or Earth 2 Geek, who has a channel about soup and backgammon, can come on in. And hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined as of right now by CJ.
Yo.
Easy and Nick might be running in a little later, but not right now. Boy, we have a lot to talk about. First of all, if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I'm at CJ locally. We love wrestling. We love talking about wrestling. We love sharing our love of pro wrestling with each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we're just fans. Our opinions are that of any other fan. Because at the end of the day, hola, happy Cinco de Mayo. Yes, Caleb's in the house. Ray's in the house. Avoid insider terms, because at the end of the day, we're not insiders, we're not wrestlers. We's just a bunch of marks. And I figured we'd start this week. At Cinco de Mayo, I decided to honor Eddie Guerrero with my shirt that I bought at Squared Circle Expo from the Lucha Libre Superstore. Check them out on Instagram. Free plug. And the biggest news, well, there's a lot of big news about wrestling, but
No, there's a lot.
yeah, there's really a lot this week. But I feel like the first thing we should talk about is Freddie Prinze Jr. has made it public his desire to um, start a wrestling promotion. And if I can find it, yes, here it is. His plan is to start in the next 18 months. He wants a 2-hour show. He has the funding for 3 years to see how it goes. He wants the storylines based in reality. He wants to give equal time to both the men and women's division. He does not have a TV contract as of now. And possibly the biggest news, he wants this to be a SAG show. Now, that's a lot to unpack. That's a lot of things that are not really, especially the SAG. A lot of things that aren't really normal in the world of professional wrestling. So, um, I figure I would pass this off to CJ, who's kind of well, the one that knows the most about these sorts of things.
The accountant.
Something like that, yeah.
So, well, I mean, I guess this thing, I mean, he's never been really secretive about being a wrestling fan, and it's been kind of, I thought it was more general knowledge than it was until one day we had a conversation about it, and you're like, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr. wants to be a wrestling promoter.
I'm gonna let you in on a small secret. Not as many people listen to WrestleNomics as you think.
I didn't even hear it on WrestleNomics. Thank you. Cheap plug for Brandon Thurston. You're welcome. That's the wrestling podcast stuff that I listen to. But it's apparently not. Very common knowledge that he's a really big wrestling fan. He wanted to, this is his retirement. He has been saving and saving and saving, and he's kind of said it off and on in different interviews for years that he has talked to some really smart accounting people, and he had all his ideas in mind. He knows about what size of a roster he wants. He knows the kind of product he wants to put out and where he wants to run. And he's crunched all the numbers for expenses. And he said he would get together 3 years to cover that cost. And if at the end of 3 years he's not profitable in it, he's just going to close the doors. But the big thing that everybody's talking about right now is that he wants it to be affiliated with SAG. And that, for one, is to make sure that the wrestlers are getting paid, even if they get injured, if they retire, if they do whatever. When you get a SAG paycheck once, you typically always get a SAG paycheck afterwards. If your show runs in a syndication or they do reruns or something like that, you always get the royalties from that through SAG. You also have the access to the SAG insurance benefits, and that's the big key. That's something that he's always talked about would make his wrestling company different, is that he will offer benefits to all of his wrestlers. Tony Khan and AEW kind of talked about this idea, but they really only did it with the office staff. So Coach Kenny, the Bucks, they had it. Obviously now just Kenny and the Bucks, but Mox, Jericho. Well, I don't know exactly what positions Jericho holds at this point, but if you're not corporate, basically, if you're just talent, you don't have that kind of a benefit in AEW. So that's something that wrestling companies just don't do. That's something that sets him apart. I think that when he does decide, when he gets TV lined out, and I'm pretty sure he will, wrestling's a really hot market right now. It's really cheap programming, and it's easy money for TV contracts. So I think that he'll get it. And I think he'll get some really interesting talent because he's offering a lot of extra benefits that nobody else can really offer if he gets SAG to agree. That's kind of the key to it, I think, is getting the Screen Actors Guild to agree to work with some wrestling. But it's not the dirty, smelly...
That's true, but there is still a lot of people within SAG that see it as the dirty, seedy, silly, useless, fake fighting bastard of the entertainment world. I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying there's a lot of muckety mucks in Hollywood that pish posh the pro wrestling.
I don't think that that's really the conception as much as it was, especially with The Rock. I think that Mr. Dwayne Johnson really changed some perceptions, especially as he has become like the biggest thing in Hollywood. Like, oh, he came from that wrestling thing and he came from a wrestling family. It's not like he's just like, oh yeah, well, he just did that for a while. Just to get to here. No. He did the wrestling thing after football failed, but no, he was a wrestler. And he was from a wrestling family, and wrestling's in his blood. And he still says that every time he comes back, he calls it home. So I think as especially like our parents' generation becomes the leaders, they're really the ones that grew up when wrestling had really hit that first boom, not the second boom, not the late 90s boom, but the 70s, the 80s saw wrestling really gain its footing and popularity, and it came out less of a carny show, and it was televised. It was more serious sometimes. If you didn't live in the Northeast, it was a little bit more serious.
And even it was serious in the Northeast when the father was running it, and not so much the son.
Yeah. So
our chat,
I don't know.
Our chat does have a few things to say. Caleb, if he has money and wants to do it, all power to him. Hopefully it goes well if he decides to do it. Ray, my buddy, trains Freddie and BJJ. Good, that's cool. I don't know if I would see it being up there with WWE and AEW. I could see it being on an MLW and Lucha Underground level when it comes to popularity. But that's a niche. And that's a niche that needs filled, especially the Lucha Underground one. Which brings me to probably the next point about this. What do you want to see from this promotion? And I ask all the people watching this either live or catching it on another time. What do you want to see from Freddie Prinze Jr.'s new wrestling project?
What do you want to see?
What do I? Well, see, that's kind of hard. Like that is the hardest part because right now in wrestling, while and we're gonna get to this later, while AEW isn't like really, you know, I'm not as excited about it as I was, last year or the year before at this time. Um, I really don't know what I want to see from Freddie's wrestling project just because everything I kind of want from wrestling's kind of getting satisfied. If that makes sense. Somewhere. May not necessarily all from AEW or all from New Japan or all from WWE, but there's something in each group that's going like, I like that, 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 I like that I'm not trying to be the bitter internet wrestling fan right now. As far as what I'd like to see from, first of all, I mean, like the SAG would be huge because I'd like to see the wrestlers taken care of. I'd like to see the wrestlers get benefits so that way, you know, CJ and I have gone to some local independent shows with some wrestlers that it really, really is sad because they did not save their money, they did not take care of their money, and now they were broken. And to see them, as much as we love shelling out the money for their autographs and getting to meet them, and as nice a guys as they could have been, sometimes it's sad seeing somebody who was, once on national TV walking in very, very injured to, a small arena, in our neck of the woods.
Cute that you call it an arena.
What do you want to call it?
Well, I mean, sometimes it's a skating rink.
Yeah, sometimes there's a skating rink, and sometimes
it's just a pole barn.
Sometimes it is just a pole barn. Well, see, I'm not just saying this because Caleb's in the house, but the arena, the AC Brasse Arena in Cape is actually a really good venue for wrestling. Like, that is probably the nicest one that we see a show consistently at, where it's like, hey, this was built for events like this. Hey, this was like, I'm sure this has like accommodations of some kind for these wrestlers.
It's not a knock on any promotion that we go to. It's just
that's independent wrestling.
Well, and this area doesn't have very large venues that can accommodate a ring and a crowd. You can have one or the other. You can usually not have both.
Yeah. And we just went to a show that was in a play theater that had like a great atmosphere and a great look, and we just like loved it. Like it looked, you got the card on a playbill, which I thought was amazing. But then, like, kind of trying to shuffle by the gimmick tables where it was so cramped up, you're like, uh-oh. And then I doubt they had showers for the wrestlers in a play building. Maybe, but probably not. So I don't know what I personally would want to see from it. If I do want to, as the chat said, I would like to see more of like a Lucha Underground sort of presentation. So that way it kind of fills that void. That's probably the one thing that I have enjoyed that I've seen go with wrestling that I have enjoyed, and it's not being fulfilled right now by any wrestling promotion that I have access to following. So something like that would be cool.
It would be nice if they took the storytelling elements from Lucha Underground. The Achilles heel of Lucha, though, it was filmed all together, so it was taped like in big supersets. So like here's season, and so the story was already so set before they got in and filmed that when characters would start to get over, they're like, well, shit,
Which is something else that's good, or that's bad, I should say. But there's also a good element to it. If you like film it all at once, maybe some of these names from these other promotions, may not necessarily WWE or AEW, but hey, we're doing this a season at a time. We can get some Impact guys. We can get some of the MLW guys.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
can, hey, can you? We're gonna be taping for the next month. Can you take a month off of Impact? Sure. Hey, we can bring these luchadors in for a month. We can bring these. I know New Japan probably won't do it, but we can bring these Noah and maybe the Freedoms guys. Stuff like that. We can bring those guys in for a month to film this TV show. We can bring in these UK guys for a month. To film it. So something like that I would like to see. I would like to see. I want to see. And I just looked up and saw this figure hanging on my wall of that you guys can't see on camera, and it did jog my memory. I'd like to see Chris Hero a part of it. If I could say one thing, I want Chris Hero to be part of it because he was part of the first project that a Hollywood guy wanted to get involved in wrestling, that the Wrestling Retribution Project that got started. It was the first grassroots sort of crowdfunding wrestling promotion, and then for a multitude of reasons it didn't pan out. But the guy sounded like he had his finger on the pulse of it. It was All In before All In, and how he wanted to tell stories, and he has finger on the pulse and gave characters to all these independent wrestlers. He had Chris Hero as part of it. He had MVP. He had Chris Masters. He had Luther. He had Kenny Omega as part of it. Sami Callihan. He had a who's who of wrestlers in 2011 and wanted to tell a 3-act story structure in seasons. And a lot of people were on board with this. It's just unfortunately, even after crowdfunding, he's probably more carny than any promoter that ever existed because he kind of just took his ball and ran and didn't release the footage. Even after filming it, he didn't release the footage. I'd like to see something like that happen and maybe get who you can while, when you can. The SAG thing worries me just a little bit about getting certain talent because, well, first of all, as well as AEW plays with people, if it's a SAG show, I don't think even the great AEW will probably not let its wrestlers go do that.
Nope.
They will not. AEW, as much as we love them, they will not go let their wrestlers join a union.
No. I think realistically, you see the Impact guys go.
A lot of the NWA guys.
Maybe
Nick Aldis would be great in something like this.
I think if you're really smart, you have especially because he wants to make it more realistic fighting mode, you go have a talk with Court Bauer at MLW.
Yeah.
Because he's really sour about not getting TV deals and being duped out of this and that. You need wrestlers, you need talent, you kind of need somebody who knows the business a little bit more. That would be a really good deal to swoop MLW guys over, elevate them on TV with contracts that nobody else has. Just kind of fuse the two together a little bit for these shows.
Right.
That's what I would be doing.
More from the chat. I like to see every roster member contribute something to the show instead of hoarding talent, not using them minimally. Word, yeah. We're looking at both of the major promotions when we read that out loud. The thing I like most about Lucha.
That's what I missed.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Easy's in the house.
I've been for about 5 minutes. Hey. I know I was in here for 5 minutes, so I was just selling in. But what are you talking about? Freddie Thingy's new wrestling thing?
Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah. That's our first topic.
I was say
well, first of all, let me finish Caleb's comment, and then we'll get right to you. The thing I liked about Lucha.
No, you're fine.
Every match held an importance. Rather, it was to tell or build a story or make someone like Cage look like a badass. Yeah, I completely agree with that. CJ and I were actually going back and watching it until Tubi got rid of it. Bring it back, Tubi. And I was just impressed with how much they were doing that. And I heard the story got even more and more deep as things went on. And I was so excited for that. Like, that's something I want to see. I think the big goal with this would be try and do the Lucha Underground thing. I would not do the Wrestling Retribution. Well, actually, I don't know. It'll depend on whatever everybody thinks is best. I personally do not want to see them do the Wrestling Retribution project way of doing things where, everybody got a new gimmick. Like, yes, they had Chris Hero and Kenny Dykstra and Luther and MVP and Chris Masters and all those guys as part of that project, but they all got new names and they all kind of got new gimmicks somewhat. And I know they did that for a reason, but then you look at Lucha Underground and the way they set up that show, like the rest of wrestling was canon still in Lucha Underground, whereas with Wrestling Retribution Project,
kind of.
The rest of wrestling was not really canon, In
Lucha Underground, some of other wrestling was canon, and some people are like Prince Puma.
Right.
Not a super established over name yet at that point, but someone some people knew, especially if you followed indies. But they put a mask on him. Didn't ever really do much else. Like, had this whole storyline where he was new, he'd never wrestled, done anything like that. They never tell us who he is other than he's Prince Puma. So,
and we keep laughing at it because they're, it's like, oh, Puma comes from, Los Angeles. No, it's Paducah. He comes from Paducah.
I know they were like from the Aztec temples of Mexico and like, or the hood of Paducah, Kentucky. That's either one.
Yeah.
It's interchangeable.
But yeah, so that's kind of like, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm talking about like the other people, like Pentagon and Phoenix and Blue Demon and Chavo and
Sexy Star
and Johnny Mundo and the people that we knew were stars. Like, again, and I'm not trying to pick on Wrestling Retribution Project. Like, not saying Kenny Dykstra was like the biggest name in the WWE, but like, people knew who he was then. So if you take, dare I say, somebody like Joey Janela even, and put him in this project, people are going to know, that's Joey Janela. If you give Joey Janela, he's like, actually, I'm Jackie Brewster,
Janela
and I brew beer, people are going to be like, uh-huh now? Okay.
It's difficult on just trying to get some sort of like gimmick work. Like, again, like my personal view about this is, okay, he wants to start his own wrestling company, cool.
I can believe that, Caleb. I can believe that. I know he was around this area a lot.
What he wants.
But kind of something we alluded to earlier. I don't know if Easy heard or not. The thing that I think's really gonna, all the wrestlers want to be a part of SAG, but the one thing I fear for them is like, okay, let's say I'm just pulling these names out for argument's sake. Okay, let's say Joey Janela and Chris Hero and Trevor Murdoch and Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, they all join this. They're kind of the big names on the indies right now. They're kind of people that have some buzz or whatever. And they get their SAG card and they're part of SAG and they do this and just, it doesn't work out. Hey, I want to go back to WWE. Vince McMahon's going to go, ha, 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 fuck you and your union. Like hell you are. And their career's over. And as much as this hurts me to say, I think AEW would probably do something very similar. So, SAG can giveth, and SAG can taketh away. So that's another big concern of mine is like, as much as we know a lot of wrestlers want to unionize, with something that's an unproven commodity that, is a really, really up in the air thing to whether or not it would work, would a lot of these wrestlers jeopardize being able to go wrestle again to do this? Oh, what does everybody else think?
Again, I just personally I don't really have an opinion about nor do I know like the full understanding about how exactly is SAG is that what its name is SAG?
String Actors Guild, SAG, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like wondering, wow, nice name. But anyways, again, just whether it's gonna work or not, it's always good supporting the indies. But yeah, the whole like unionized thing, like with wrestling, it's almost like when NASCAR, they tried to unionize and that failed miserably. So I don't know. It's a really, really tough subject, and I just don't have the full understanding about it.
Right.
And I don't know how like the SAG contracts are and how everything else is like under normal unionization. You pay your dues, you're in the union, they fight for you until you don't pay your dues and you don't have a job that's unionized, and you can quit and go to another job if you're not in the union. Like, you can stop being in the union with another job, but you don't get to carry the benefits over once you're out of the union, unless it's like a retirement fund that you can roll over or just cash out.
Right.
So I mean, it's obviously going to be different. I don't know where the differences are. I've never had to deal with that.
It's just kind of, I just wonder if they're like, they're going to want to, because, Easy brought up the NASCAR union. For those that don't know, the first time NASCAR tried to unionize, the most popular driver, Curtis Turner, actually got started with the Teamsters Union, a really powerful union in the United States, to try and get like some extra benefits for the drivers in NASCAR. And because
the Deep South said, "Fuck no."
Not even just the Deep South, it's just the person in NASCAR said, who basically ran it and was a private business, said, no. And anybody who talks about unionization will be banned from NASCAR for life. And he straight up did it to the most popular driver, the driver that most people paid to come watch race. He said, no, you tried to unionize my sport, you can leave. And he left, and he was done. So
he did drive a mean Hudson Hornet.
And I could see Vince McMahon going, all you SAG people that joined up with this bullshit are never coming back to WWE again. And there might be a few holdouts going, that's fine with me. But there's also going to be some young guys going, that means I'm never going to get WrestleMania. That means I'm never going to get to be WWE champion. That means I'm never going to get to have a match on Raw. And that's going to scare them to death. That's going to scare them to death. And I hope this works out for him. I hope it works out, because having benefits like that is great for wrestling. But I worry that the most powerful person in wrestling hates unions.
Vince despises unions. He will never come near it with the 10-foot pole.
And now, does that include just the wrestlers, or what about like the corporate atmosphere? Do they have a union?
No.
Okay.
No, they have no union.
Yes.
They do?
The cameramen.
Oh, cameramen.
They have, so like all of their, like the camera technicians, the sound guys, stuff like that. Those people are all unioned. And they have been for a long, long time. So he has to hire through the union for them. He doesn't really have much of a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he hires them all corporate.
I know, like, some of the building stuff, Bischoff said this on his podcast, like, part of the reason why he liked running the southern states and WCW so much because they were non-union. And he could pay, it would cost a lot less money to do, like, the construction on the buildings because he would have to just pay whoever would do it. He'd just pay whoever's the cheapest. And the union states, like, your New Yorks, your Californias, Illinois, places like that, you'd have to go through the union to get construction crews, and that either cost more money that he didn't feel it was worth it, or wasn't worth his investment, or just didn't do it. So, yeah, that's another reason why probably a fixed set location is going to be good for this new promotion. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see what they can do with it. I want it to happen, but number one hates unions and would probably hate any of his wrestlers who have a union card. And number two hasn't made their stance perfectly clear, but seeing as how the NFL owners don't really like the Players Association that much, I'm not going to say that Tony Khan is a big fan, just going by an educated guess there. So, all right, so now it is time to talk about Rampage. And first match from this past Friday's Rampage is Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland. I really enjoyed this match. Right guy won. I think. I do think that. I know that Swerve can't win every match, but he's being featured, and I can appreciate that. But I don't feel like beating the dead horse of the overpopulated roster in AEW right now. I just don't feel like doing it. Anyone else have anything they want to add?
No, this is a really good match.
Yeah, go watch the match, but
yeah.
See, we have Jade Cargill and the Baddies versus Nightingale, Blue, and Adora. This was a match. It's a good match for the Baddies, but it was just nothing to write home about. But you need these sorts of matches when you form new stables, so I don't have a problem with it. Just
AEW Women's Tag Team Championship confirmed?
No.
What? Okay, I want to ask you something. They barely feature the women as it is. They barely feature them to where they barely make time for two belts, two singles belts in the women's division. Why do they need tag belts?
His was a joke, but I mean, if they really want to truly boost the women's, rounds, which honestly I really think they should, because the one thing that WWE is really better at with AEW is definitely the women's division. So maybe, hopefully, this can be a good wake-up call to let, the AEW Galaxy know, hey, you know what, we are going to finally, feature the equal amount of time for the women with tag belts and create whole new stables and all that fun stuff.
They don't have enough women to do that.
Number one.
I was going to say, there's firstly, not enough women, and I think it's just one of those fantasy ideas, really. Well, we'll see.
Fix your singles division. It's not.
Do that first, so yes.
Yeah, it's not super duper far gone. It's not like it's going to be a great undertaking to fix it. The pieces are there. Just start putting it in motion. It's just a matter of doing it.
Committing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Committing more than 2 weeks to it.
Not just saying, hey, here's the belt. Is it better now? Hey, they don't have a secondary belt for their women's division. Aren't we better? No, that's not what it is. You've got to actually make it look good. To be fair, I'd say Jade's probably the best champion in AEW right now. I will give it that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next match we have Keith Lee versus Colton Gunn. Don't call him the ass boy. I was impressed with Colton in this match. I mean, I know Keith Lee and everything, but I came out of this match thinking, damn, Colton Gunn is not that bad.
Colton Gunn isn't getting really good.
Oh, yeah. But, just much like anybody else who has a famous dad, Maybe don't get the love they deserve, right, wrong, or indifferent. And
You're
then
also saying that we can't call them the Ass Boys.
no, please
The
call
Ass
them the Ass
Boys
Boys.
should not be called the Ass Boys.
No, I never said don't call them the Ass Boys. That's not what I said.
Right.
ROH TV title match: Samoa Joe versus Trent Beretta. This was damn good. And then also on this card, check that match out. Nothing else I got to say about it other than just check it out. Danhausen and Hook might be a tag team. Danhausen finally got
Yes,
some
please,
TV.
Hookhausen.
Okay, if they're going to do this tag team with Hookhausen, they better find a way to make it make more sense. Like, we finally got like a little bit of promo time from Danhausen on this episode, which is nice, very nice, very evil. We heard him say that for the first time, so maybe.
And still no theme song yet. Like, what the hell? He has the theme music.
I wonder if that costs too much money.
Really, that costs too much money?
I don't know. I figured if it didn't,
we're playing Cult of Personality like every freaking week.
I know, but who knows? That's why I'm saying, like, get on it. But like now, I better hear more about world domination and being a demon and blimps and human monies and blimps, domination and blimps. I better be getting that now, AEW. I want to hear Danhausen be Danhausen.
Maybe Hook can get the world domination, then Danhausen gets all the bags of money.
That's what we're hoping for.
Also, that was like the loudest Hookhausen chant that I have heard, and I was very
it's
happy.
over. It's over, but it's just kind of like, knows how much better it would be if just gave it a little bit more. Just that much more. That much more explanation. You know, the Dark Knight trilogy is amazing. You know what they still did in the first in the first movie? They explained who Batman was. Yes, most people knew who Batman were, but there are probably some people that was their first exposure to the Bat, and they needed to know who Batman was. And by golly, they explained it.
Although I still think Christian Bale's Batman voice is really bad. I'm sorry, I'm the minority.
I agree. The best Batman of all time is Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy.
I like Michael Keaton.
Actually, the best live action. This is really controversial. I like Ben Affleck. I thought he did a damn good job, and haters can suck it.
Oh, you want to go really controversial? I actually enjoyed Val Kilmer as Batman.
I like Val Kilmer. He was cool.
Actually, here's one thing: George Clooney. Also, just hear me out about this. Clooney was not bad. It's just the problem was he was in a bad Batman movie.
It was a great Batman movie.
Really?
I love
Batman,
it. It's so terrible.
You love Batman and Robin.
I love Batman and Robin.
Hopefully you love Batman and Robin in the same way you think the Canal from Hell match is a good match.
No, you know what? I think the finger poke of Doom was way better than Hogan lifting Andre.
Well, nothing about Hogan is good. So there's that.
All right.
Okay, I completely forgot Hogan the finger poke of Doom.
So now it's time to light the fuse and bring the boom and talk Dynamite. Ben Affleck was an amazing Batman. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you. So we have Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Fish in an Owen Hart Cup qualifier. I did not. It wasn't a bad match. I'm not feeling Jeff Hardy.
No, I'll say it. It was a bad fucking match.
I'm giving it a pass because Bobby Fish. Because Bobby Fish did good in this match.
Bobby Fish did good in this match. He would have done better in this match if he was wrestling literally anybody else.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy.
Even though it was okay. Not good, not bad, but okay.
Way nicer than us.
Yeah. I'm not saying that because I'm a hardcore like Jeff Hardy fan. It's just like it was really a good match.
And
You know how a few minutes ago we were talking about like being sad about having to see wrestlers like really broken down past their prime, and they really couldn't walk into these little venues and sign their autographs. I feel like that 10 times worse with Jeff Hardy, because I see him walking to the ring and moving around much slower, and I'm calling back in my head about the Undertaker saying that he didn't want to be the person that their son looked, or he didn't want to be the guy where a fan looked at his son and been like, you should have seen him in his heyday. Like, that's where we're at with Jeff now, and it makes me sad, but I'm also kind of frustrated with him because apparently he can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I only want to see one thing from AEW and the Hardy Boys. Let them win their tag titles, give them their thank you, here's everything, you are now officially crowned the best. And then they lose it to, I don't know, maybe...
Ricky Starks.
No.
Nah.
No, I don't like the font there. Maybe lose
also,
it to...
Starks would need a better tag team partner.
The Accountability Buddies?
Yeah, return the account.
Oh, you know what? MJF and Shawn Spears? Sure.
Yeah, MJF and Shawn Spears would be cool. I'd be okay with that. Yeah. That would destroy happiness.
Buddies is dead. Actually, no. I got something better. The real Accountability Buddies, the Acclaimed.
They're not
accountable. This is gonna get weird.
They don't hold anybody accountable. They're not accountable.
They hold each other.
No, they don't.
They protect each other.
No, that's not accountable. They get each other into trouble. You do not understand the concept of what it is like to have an accountability buddy where you're held accountable for your actions.
Isn't that what CJ does? That she's in. No,
yes.
Very much so.
This is why we understand accountability buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't like this. And here's something else I don't like. Yes, I get that we're getting Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin in the first round. And yes, it's a dream match. And yes, this is a match that needs to happen as much as I don't really care for Jeff right now. But why does this have to be a first round match? There is so much about this tournament that could have been so much better had they just taken a little bit of time with it. Again, I kind of talked about last, with FTR facing off. That's fine. It was a great match. It should have happened. It's great. But how about instead of being a qualifier, it ends up being the whole, oh no, they got to face each other. Oh no. Have that happen in the semifinals. Expand the tournament a little bit and then be like, oh, hey, and take some more time to build it up. And then be like, oh, shit, hey, we're 3 weeks away from Double or Nothing, and FTR's got to face off to see who goes to the semifinals of the Owen Hart tournament. Shit. There you go. That's much more build-up, and you can raise the stakes a little bit more. They did good with what they had. Imagine if they just would have had more build-up. Same thing with Jeff and Darby. This has to be a first-round match. Like, this couldn't be a semifinal. This couldn't be the finals. Put it on pay-per-view. Make people pay money for it. It got proven today that AEW fans are willing to pay money for things they want to see and they love. Reward us for giving you that money. Don't just go, oh, hey, shucks, gee golly, williker winkles. You're paying your money anyway. We'll give you a mid-card pay-per-view. We'll give you a mid-card match.
I mean, to be fair to him, I think that he is giving the people what they want, because the internet would instantly be like, oh, what if we ever see FTR face each other? What if we get Jeff and Darby in the tournament? That would be cool. What if we get Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter in the tournament? That would be cool. And he's like, bibbity bobbity boop, you got it. Which is fine. You're giving the internet what it asks for. But one, we don't have to give the internet everything it asks for, because it's a demanding bitch. And two, delayed gratification. It's always better to delay gratification. You don't have to instantly give anybody anything. That's what made the build for Hangman winning this belt.
Hangman and Kenny. If Kenny would have won right out the gate, would it have been? Would it have had like as much effect as it did? No.
No. Like the build is always better. The money's in the chase, Daddy.
So, Caleb said, Tony Khan cares for the internet way too much. Yeah, and I'm on the internet, and I think that. I'm literally right here on the internet. Jeff Hardy is one of those, yay, we got him. What do we do with him? Talents AEW's picked up. Like 90% of their recent signings, except for like maybe Joe. And speaking of Samoa Joe, he's wrestling a Joker. That just means somebody else is getting signed. Woohoo!
Well, the internet says it's Johnny Gargano, so even if it wasn't, it's going to be now.
And I love Johnny Gargano, but like, what? Where are you going to find space for Johnny Gargano now? Where? Where the fuck is he going to fit in?
On one show where he fights Adam Cole, like he did in NXT a couple of times. Because that's what the internet wants.
What's Keith Lee doing that's super spectacular? What's Keith Lee that's doing any better than his WWE run? I challenge everybody.
He's not doing anything but becoming a tag team guy.
So let's get Johnny Gargano. Probably honest to God, one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in person. Maybe one of the best good guy wrestlers since Ricky Steamboat. The fucking Goku of pro wrestling. What's he gonna do? Hell, some of the AEW's originals are doing nothing. We're finally seeing John Silver on something other than Dark next week.
We're seeing John Silver in a squash match. I'm not super excited about that.
Woohoo! Thank you for all your hard work during the pandemic, John, but just remember, we got CM Punk now. We got CM Punk and Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson and all these things. We don't need you anymore. Thank you for your hard work. We'll let you get some wins over some tryout talent on Dark. Yeah, exactly. Kid said Johnny Gargano ended up. I want to see Johnny Gargano in New Japan. And not like New Japan bleeding into AEW, New Japan. Not everybody has to go to AEW and do a match. Save some stuff for when you have creative for it. When you have room. I always think of this because I had this conversation, but Johnny Gargano, one time when I met him, we ended up talking about football, and he ended up, kind of jokingly going like, screw you Broncos fans. Not because of the drive, because you get all the good players. You guys just got Peyton Manning. Yeah, Broncos need a quarterback, so they went after Peyton Manning. You know where Peyton Manning didn't go? The Packers. Or the Steelers. Or the Patriots that already had quarterbacks that were firmly starting. That's kind of what AEW is right now. It's like, let's get 12 quarterbacks. And it's frustrating as fuck. The one thing I would like to see with this Joker, I made some jokes, no pun intended, with some people on Twitter about it being above average Mike Sanders from WCW, and like it kind of started an ironic joke going on. But you know what? I'd like that to be the Joker for once. Like, maybe not above average Mike Sanders, but like let it be somebody who's just kind of like, okay, whatever. They do one match and they're done. Don't sign Cesaro right now if you don't got a story for him. Don't sign Johnny Gargano right now if you don't have good creative for a talent like Johnny Gargano. And I'm not talking like good creative for like to get you to all out and then taper off. I mean like here is a plan for a story that we wish to do with Johnny Gargano or Claudio Castagnoli. Cool Joker, yeah, exactly. Like let it be Glacier or let it be DDP or let it be somebody who's a one and done. Let it be like Moose. Or, Josh Alexander or...
Lord, don't let it be Josh Alexander.
Yeah,
they bring Impact
absolutely
talent
not.
over and just squash them.
Yeah, that's true.
What about Rich Swann?
More on that later.
Yeah, Rich Swann. Yeah, that'd be great. Let it be Red Titus or Dalton Castle or... I'm trying to go into the Rolodex of ROH people that...
Taven.
You know what? Matt Taven would be fine for a one and done. I don't like him,
just for him to get squashed. Yeah, that's why.
Maybe not even I'm not even saying squash, but do a one and done. Oh hey, they had a match with Samoa Joe. It was fine. They lost. Joe's gonna kill you. Move on. And I don't like Matt Taven, but that would be a good choice. That'd be a very good choice because he's somebody okay, they need something to do with him. Bring him in. Oh hey, it's another former Ring of Honor champion. PCO for a one and done. Eric Young will be cool. Yeah, Eric Young. It doesn't have to be somebody who's gonna be. Don't make it somebody who's this dream signing because you know what? Joe's probably not gonna lose. And number two, what are you gonna do with them from there? When you get ROH on TV, we'll talk about signing some more people. Then we'll talk signing more male talent. There was a joke online last night also that it was the former CZW wrestler Joker. I'd pop for that. So from there, getting back onto the task at hand, Young Bucks face off against the Hardys. Not really super interested in that match. Because it's not going to be as good as the Young Bucks Hardys matches that we saw 5 years ago. I guess I respect the fact they're going to do it in front of a bigger audience, and there's probably a number of people in the AEW audience that weren't watching Ring of Honor at the time, didn't buy the ROH pay-per-views and DVDs, so they maybe didn't see it, so that's fine. But it's not going to be, for those of us that did see it, which Tony Khan is very fluid with, when, hey, these people already seen it, so don't explain anything or don't do that, This probably isn't the biggest match I want to see. What say the rest of you?
I'm, again, just personally indifferent as long as, I'm still looking at a good product. And I think they're always teasing a Bucks Hardys matchup, which again, that's gonna happen on pay-per-view. I don't know if I'll say Double or Nothing, just not yet. But I would definitely say for All Out. Or All In too, if they're gonna go with that name. I don't know.
CJ?
I don't really care to see it. Maybe if I had better warm fuzzies about the Hardys wrestling right now, I'm not really on board with giving the Hardys the belts. Just to be huzzah, you are the greatest tag team ever, and all the tag teams look up to you and honor you. We all know that that's the case, especially with a lot of the talent in AEW. It's going to draw money. There's probably a lot of people that want to see it. I'm not really one of them. So, and it didn't seem like Baltimore really cared about it that much either.
Nope. But something that I do really care about? William Regal and that awesome promo he did. And a stable I really do care about? No, not the Undisputed Elite, but the Blackpool Combat Club. See what the rest of current Jeff Hardy. Yeah, that's true. Blackpool Combat Club versus the Butcher, the Blade, and Angelico because Jack Evans is gone. Again, kind of very similar to the baddies. You gotta just have these matches. It's Blackpool Combat Club beating the Andrade Family Office, and yeah, match that need to happen. Nothing spectacular, nothing that's going to make Dave Meltzer say, oh, that was 5 stars, but something that is good for the integrity of the group, much like the match on Rampage with the baddies. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs look to be getting a shot at the tag titles. That should be a good match. I don't foresee them winning, though. Sorry, CJ.
Don't worry. One day Ricky Starks will hold a real championship.
He does hold a real championship.
That's not. It's not officially recognized by AEW.
It's recognized by Taz. And that's what's most
way more
important.
Good for Taz.
When
Hey,
you see that belt, do you recognize what it is?
It would be better if he was maybe like a TNT champion, or I literally will think one
Would
day
it be
Ricky
better
Starks should
if
be
he
a
was a
world
TNT
champion.
Yeah, let's say the
champion
TNT
right now?
Championship's cursed right now.
They kind of shit on that belt. I don't know.
Oh, if it's cursed, then you just give it to Danhausen.
Cool.
I mean, you might as fucking well. At least
Might as
then
well.
change
actually.
hands every 5 minutes.
Yeah. I know Nick said this a few weeks ago, and I'm inclined to agree. Was Cody booking that belt? Because it's gone to shit since he's been gone.
It's like fucking hot potato.
Yeah, just like the women's championship between Charlotte and Sasha Banks at one time.
Yep.
I didn't care for that much either, but that was so that Charlotte gets her numbers up and can beat her daddy, and they don't have to honor Ric Flair again in that company.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna honor another Flair that is gonna be wearing off soon.
Yeah.
Wardlow's next, and MJF puts fucking Big Cass or William Morrissey, whatever the fuck he's called in there. Love the dueling "We want Enzo, no we don't" chants. That was
amazing.
That made me happy.
Yes, and also no, we don't.
Didn't they drop the whole Team Taz things? I haven't heard about it in forever.
No.
They didn't really drop it. It's just kind of more so just Starks and Hobbs are a tag team now. It's kind of just a tag team deal. Taz is a little bit more like Bobby Heenan with like Ric Flair and Lex Luger, where sometimes he'll come to ringside with them, but more often than not, he's just at the commentary booth. But we'll acknowledge, yes, I am their manager. I'm just here at the booth. Like I said, what they did with Heenan and Flair in the WWF, or Heenan and the narcissist Lex Luger in the WWF. So that's kind of what they're doing, and I actually kind of like it that way, because it gives me those vibes. Wardlow wins, and then we find out, much like everybody else that wants a piece of MJF, he's got to jump through some hoops, and he's going to be jumping through hoops in Long Island. So finally going to have that angry crowd for Wardlow.
Or will we?
We'll see.
Yes.
Britt and Jamie Hayter do a segment with Ruby Soho and Tony Storm. Set up a tag match. That'll be cool. Hangman Page comes out and gives me a breath of fresh air, as he just pretty much says that he's not going to kiss up to CM Punk, and he's going to beat him. And he's not going to be in awe of CM Punk. And unless they just keep making Hangman... It's a good call to make Hangman bad for this match, because whether I personally don't care for CM Punk or not, most of the fan base does. And they're going to cheer for CM Punk, so at least let Hangman lean into it a little bit. This is maybe a good thing for Hangman. This is maybe a good way to make him not feel like an afterthought going into this match and feel like he has a chance.
I already thought this promo was weak. I didn't felt like, you were gone last week, and you had a week to, figure out what exactly do you want to say about CM Punk. Bring up, he's after you beat him, he's going to be washed up again, or something. I don't know.
You don't want to
feel like I was getting the full intensity.
Just kind of covered that with MJF.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want your champion to be reusing stuff that someone else just said in a feud.
Or maybe in this case, just make it all about him. Like, just Hangman on Page.
This is...
while you were gone, I was rising up through my own legacy, and, now I'm making my own name, and people will
Because
chant
people are gonna
Hangman or
go,
Cowboy shit.
yeah, because that's the same thing he did with Kenny. That's the same thing he did with Brian. He's got to do something different. Hey, I've already
Bring
made my
back the
way.
noose.
He's got to do something a little bit different. I like it in the sense that he wasn't like he showed he doesn't like CM Punk, and he's not going to go into this thinking that he's going to be intimidated by CM Punk. And he did something that's going to piss off CM Punk fans, but he did it in a way, to me, as of now, and this can get more heated closer we get to Double or Nothing. He
Yeah.
did it in a way that is showing me that he's still not a bad person, but he's going to do what he has to do. He is not like, okay, I'm not going to get cheered. People are cheering for CM Punk, and I'm not CM Punk. Okay, that's fine. You're going to be sad. You're going to be very sad because I'm going to beat CM Punk. I'm not going to kiss up to try and do a tribute match with CM Punk. No, I'm going to win. It's...
I really liked this promo.
Yeah.
I liked that he didn't, like, personally, I really liked the jab at we won't have this, like, masturbatable Bret Hart match. Like,
yes. Because that seems to be and I'm not even saying this as a Shawn Michaels fan trying to take a cheap shot at Bret Hart. Like, AEW needs to fucking cool it on their Bret Hart fucking love for a little bit. Christ.
Since I was gone last week, I'm going to say something that's going to get me some heat here. I didn't care for the FTR match being like a fucking carbon copy replay of the Owen Brett match. Go have your own fucking match. You don't have to have somebody else's match just because you're fans. You're wrestlers. I'm a fan. You're a wrestler. Make your own fucking match. Tell your own fucking story. Stop that shit. You can have little homages. You can have little... I don't mind fucking Eli Drake being a little bit of Stone Cold and a little bit of The Rock. He's still his own person. He makes up his own shit. He doesn't go out there and have a Rock's fucking promo and wrestle exactly like The Rock. I can't stand that shit. Be your own person. Have your own matches. End of rant.
Yeah, I'm getting, and I'm not just saying this because, again, internet logic dictates as a Shawn Michaels fan, I dislike Bret Hart. Just like every fucking week, I get it. You idolize Bret Hart. Cool. Every fucking week, it's like, and Bret Hart, and Bret Hart, and Bret Hart, and Bret Hart, everybody. It's like fucking John Madden and Brett Favre. Oh, Peyton Manning, have you seen Brett Favre? Forever Brett Favre. Like, that's how I feel with all these AEW guys right now. Hey, this match is good, but did you see Bret Hart? Bret Hart had a match, you guys.
You guys, Bret Hart said something about that match on AEW last night.
That's because Bret Hart did. Bret Hart also said something about a bunch of things he has no expertise in, unlike wrestling. So, Bret Hart. It's like, shut up. Shut up with the Bret Hart love. Is he in your company? Is he contributing? No. I'd like to see you give more love to Jerry Lynn before you give to Bret Hart again. But just like, this is something that needs to happen. Like it sometimes with. It's like in a big fight, and you have like two fan favorite UFC fighters or boxers, that are overall, fans like them. They're not really, toxic, arrogant people whenever they do their pre-fight anything. But they're eventually you're gonna have like okay, I'm not here to be anybody's friend. I'm here to retain the belt, and I'm going to knock him the fuck out. Like Vander Holyfield was a silent champion, but there's sometimes eventually like he would go, yeah, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm through being nice. I need to win. Chuck Liddell didn't talk a lot of shit, but every now and again he'd go, yeah, I'm gonna tap him out, and if he doesn't tap out, I'm gonna break his arm. And that's kind of the vibes I'm getting from from Hangman. Yeah, I'm not gonna completely disrespect him. I'm not gonna shit on his career. Maybe not yet. I'm not gonna shit on him leaving. I'm not gonna take a personal shot at him. I'm not gonna disrespect his fan base. I'm not gonna disrespect anything. But I'm gonna beat you. I'm not gonna do this match to endear myself to you people. I'm gonna do it to win. Yeah, if Hangman wins, and Hangman needs to win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he will, but Hangman needs to win. If Hangman loses this, he will go down without question as the worst AEW World Champion. Hangman, this to me is the WrestleMania. He is Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17. Only difference is he's going in as champ. He needs to win. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like it's like even if you're a football team, maybe they're not going into their biggest rival's house, but they're going into a hostile atmosphere. They're like, well, might as well lean into these boos we're gonna get.
Yeah, they're gonna cheer somebody. They're gonna boo somebody, and I think we kind of all knew that it was gonna be CM Punk that got the cheers. So it's always better if at least in a match somebody works heel, somebody works babyface.
It's dare I say, it's kind of like RVD and John Cena at One Night Stand.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena didn't go full on bad, but he knew he wasn't gonna get cheered there. And after they threw his shirt back 4 times, he just kind of went, okay. Hey, I know if I do the 5-knuckle shuffle, it's going to piss these people off.
Yeah.
So he did it. Right. Either way, it would be. I don't know if you should turn Hangman explicitly bad because, there's too many top bad guys in AEW right now.
Okay, but who does he have as a top bad guy to work with after this, besides MJF?
I'd say you could reverse the roles a little bit with Mox.
But that's meaning you have to turn Hangman.
No, with Mox,
Yes.
I think Mox could get booed. I think Mox would be booed.
No, not if he's still in this. He can't. You either have to break him away from. You have to break him away from the Combat Club, or Hangman has to be heel.
I would say heel Hangman.
I don't think so.
I'm not against it.
Okay, and I'll say this: if you turn Hangman heel, you know what? Then I'm going to say this: AEW has failed at making a top babyface on their own. Point blank,
they will.
They failed.
Never. He can't book babyface champions.
No.
You just said it earlier. Jade Cargill is the best champion on their roster right now, and she's the only heel.
The fact that we're even saying let's turn Hangman heel after being the most emotionally invested in wrestler of 2021 just shows AEW has many shortcomings as in their booking. I know, right? I'm not supposed to say that. AEW's greatest thing ever. Why aren't you kissing up to it? This is if we're begging Hangman Page to turn to the dark side, so CM Punk can be cheered, then Tony Khan has failed to create a top good guy for his company. He's failed. Who've been the best good guys? CM Punk, Jon Moxley. Where'd they come from? Not the ground up with AEW, that's for damn sure. So the only people worthy of being heroes in your federation are ones that defect from the opposite brand? Okay. That doesn't say a lot about your long-term storytelling there, does it, bud?
Yes, the only people that can be heroes are the people that fight for the cause of the internet, which is sticking it to WWE and Vince McMahon.
Hey, there you go. Finally, someone. I guess now it's been put out there. It's been put out in the universe right now. All right, we're going to move on to the rest of this mid-show. Santana versus Chris Jericho. This was a match.
Nothing
It was a
more,
match.
nothing less.
It was a match. It furthered a storyline.
And it gave Chris Jericho a chance to introduce his new nickname.
The Wizard.
I swear, if AEW collapses, I am never ever watching pro wrestling again.
Nope. Be prepared.
I'd rather we turn us into Just Us Racers. Let's talk motorsports.
Well, this is my 2 weeks notice, y'all.
Yep.
You guys want to
No,
talk
but-
serial
but we
killers? We
need-
can talk serial
But
killers.
we need the female audience. That's why you're here.
I see.
Well, I usually
I see
piss off the
three. I
female
see
audience.
3 men in chat. I don't see any females in here.
I'm like, I usually piss off females pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Well, that's their fault.
I am a traitor to my gender.
What the hell is the Wizard? Well, Caleb, I'm so glad you asked. The Wizard.
The Wizard,
is Jericho's
Chris
new
Jericho.
nickname. It's like Le Champion.
The Wizard,
I will
It's
the
say.
like the
Wizard is
demo
the
guy.
hero that we saw from Game Over, the Spy
I
Kids
will say-
franchise.
I
Don't
will
you
say
remember?
this I will say this much about that nickname. It's not supposed to be good. Like, everything about this whole thing is like, it is kind of like, don't cheer for this. This is not good. Stop cheering for it. This is not supposed to be so cool as when it's bad that you do it. This is just bad. Stop fucking liking it. And that I am okay with. I am okay with that.
See, I was okay with the influencer thing because, well, duh. When he's, excuse me, when he's trying to push the whole sports entertainment thing. But no, you're not the Wizard. Because if we called you the Grand Wizard, then there would be massive problems.
And there already
I'm
was
trying
one.
to look because I think that he played the Grand Wizard in a movie before.
No, but
The Grand
this
Wizard of
is the-
Wrestling, not a Klansman, not a Klansman.
Okay, yeah, because there's like, I don't know what I'm thinking about here.
So he's basically a troll now. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it.
I mean, I asked for Troll Cody, so I guess I'll take Troll
I'll take
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris has been a troll his entire career.
That's true. Next up, we have the Acclaim, and they're starting a stable with the Ass Boys. I just realized what I said there. Nobody make any jokes of a certain nature, or I will lose respect for you.
I mean, they gave him scissors.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
Again, but I'm low key kind of not okay with this. It's like, no, but the Acclaimed, they do their thing, and Ass Boys, they just do their thing. So unless they miraculously can rap, which God forbid, the Acclaimed is just a 2-man group.
Betcha.
That's saying something.
Betcha Billy can rap. He was around Road Dogg for a long time. I bet you.
Mhm.
Yo,
be like,
you
"Oh, you
dealing
didn't
with
know?"
the X Factor.
No, yeah, it wasn't him. That was Uncle Cracker.
Even worse.
Yeah, it was Yo, you did. I was like, oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody. Getting rowdy. Did I mention that I can't rap? Varsity Blondes and a House of Black segment. So we finally thought we were going to get Julia Hart going to the House of Black, even though like now you can blatantly see like the stuff under Julia Hart's face, and all like the stuff happening and all of that. Yeah, and then they just
And then they did a thing, and then they did another thing, and I don't understand either
And
of
now
the other
we're-
things.
we don't understand the other thing, and we're still at the same square that we were months ago. There's long-term storytelling, and then there's just being stupid.
Well, and so okay. So we haven't really visited this Varsity Blondes, Julia Hart, and the House of Black thing for like 2 months.
No, that's not true. You should have been watching Dark. They've been doing it on Dark.
Why is Malachi Black like sent to dark?
No, the Varsity Blondes and Julia Hart were on Dark, and you should be,
Okay,
you
so
should be watching
then,
Dark. We'd be mad if we said if the WWE
So the
fans
6
said
of
watch
them
main
are
event,
not-
but you gotta be watching Dark.
dude. Was the House of Black on Dark?
I don't know. I don't watch Dark, but
I
apparently
don't
I need to be
either.
watching Dark.
So you tell us
I
to
don't
watch
either.
Dark,
No,
and then
I'm
you
being-
don't even watch Dark.
I'm being sarcastic, Sheldon. Because, like, whenever I'm like, what the fuck is happening, I get a lot of people on Twitter going, like, you need to be watching Dark. All these things are happening on Dark. You need to be
You know
watching
what?
Dark.
AEW is getting more contracts with the network. Discovery is fine with them. So if Dark was such a good fucking show, it would have a TV deal.
Yeah. I'm going to say, and like I said, if WWE was doing stuff on Main Event, and you're going like, hey, what's going on? You're like, are you not watching Main Event? You know what we'd be saying? Fuck Main Event! And fuck having to watch it! I don't mind Dark, and I don't mind having some things on Dark to reward people that watch Dark. That's cool. You know, I read comic books. You shouldn't have to read 12 series to understand what's going to happen in the next MCU movie. But yeah, they did a bunch of stuff, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. This was garbage.
It was terrible. Terrible, I tell you.
Like, this is something that should have been like a really cool moment with Julia joining the House of Black and like really get. But no, you just.
Could only imagine the
Yeah.
anger that you are having on the other end of the screen.
just
There's a
Well,
twitch.
it's more
I
like
can sense it.
my anger is just because, like, you know, not all that I interact with about wrestling, you know, some people kind of like, okay, we get it, here we go. But it's just like, I don't see what the fuck is so great about AEW right now. I don't. I love the promotion. More often than not, I enjoy the product, but like, I don't see why we gotta be kissing their ass right now. I fail to see that. I've said that for the last, like, I don't get why everybody is loving it so much. You're fine to like it. If you're a big AEW fan and this is like ticking all the boxes for you, God bless you. God bless you. I'm glad you found wrestling that is perfect for you. But like, I don't fucking get, like, I don't see it. I don't see it. You know, if WWE were doing stories like this, we'd be mad. We'd be mad at them. We'd be like, oh, this could be better, WWE. You need to tighten your ship up a little bit. But because it's AEW, it's hum-de-doom-de-doom-de-doom. It's okay. They'll get it better. Doom-de-doom-de-doom-de-doom-de-doom. And I don't want. I'm tired of doing that. I said this after the little pyro deal at Revolution last year. The coddling AEW because ho hum, their AEW is over. It's done. They've had enough time here. They have enough talent. They have enough. They've sold out enough arenas. They've maintained enough viewership. They've signed enough talent. They should know where to go from here now. Yeah, all these different things. House of Black versus all these different people that could be going on. But they're stuck feuding with Death Triangle and the Varsity Blondes. And I like Death Triangle and the Varsity Blondes, but it's enough. To quote the man that you've made the name the term after, enough is enough and it's time for a change. If this were on WWE TV, we'd be mocking the shit out of it. There would be memes and tweets and, ho ho ho, WWE still trying to do this stupid program. Let's not be hypocrites. Let's start calling AEW out on this bullshit. Then that makes our fan base look better than the WWE fan base that suck their ass at everything they do. Yeah, House of fucking do Brody and Malachi versus Jurassic Express and they win the tag belts. Boom. There you go. If you don't want to have Malachi, you know what? Or do Buddy and Brody win the tag belts, Malachi wins the TNT belt.
Not right now. because House of Black doesn't mean shit right now. And those belts don't mean shit right now. So nobody's elevating anything.
No. Nothing's being elevated right now. Ray Phoenix wrestled Dante Martin.
Yep.
I'm not going to complain about the match. It's just not my style. This is not the type of wrestling that I really enjoy. That's a personal preference, and it has no bearing on how hard both men worked. So I'm not going to say that this was a bad match, because it wasn't a bad match. There was stuff in this match I enjoyed. It's just not my favorite sort of match. So, I mean, really want Dante to win. Really thought that could be the big win Dante needed, but I guess not. Anything anybody else wants to say about this match?
Nada.
No.
Okay. Thunder Rosa does a promo talking about calling people out. Serena Deeb answers the challenge, and I'm a Thunder Rosa fan through and through.
This was hard. This was not good.
Yeah, like they didn't. I don't know what happened. And they're both capable of good promos. It's just something didn't click.
It's like somebody forgot. Like it's almost like they scripted it so that they wouldn't forget the things they needed to say, and then they forgot the things they needed to say.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
This is the best division because I made it that way. Yes, Serena, I agree with you. Like, holy Charlotte Flair, Batman, can you be more robotic about this?
I will say this: I'm looking forward to the match. I want to see this match.
It will be a fantastic match. I am a fan of both of these people. I know it doesn't sound like that from my criticism, but deal with it. That's how I see it.
It's like I said last week. Whenever something I love is struggling, I get more pissed off about it. When the Cardinals are struggling, I sound like I hate the Cardinals. When the Broncos are struggling, it sounds like I hate the Broncos. When Notre Dame's struggling, it sounds like I hate Notre Dame because I want to make them better. I want to see them better.
Well, we know at least two of those three teams will get better.
Yeah, one needs
You can pick whichever one I'm talking about.
Well, one of them just needs to quit trying to play moral high horse with people that won't respect them even if they cure cancer, and just let loose and get with the NIL.
I mean, I respect the education that they offer. I just can't respect the football program at all. You can blame my dad. He raised me to hate Notre Dame.
I guess he's a USC grad.
No, he's actually a Michigan grad.
There you go. There's enough.
Hey,
at least Brian Pillman talked to the good Harbaugh.
True.
Not the douchey Harbaugh. But yeah, everything about AEW right now is says we should be the number one program, but we're not. And there's no excuse for it. And this is one of the best matches your women's division can put out, and it was like the promos were terrible. Match is going to kick ass. Match may be a match of the year candidate. I would be okay with Serena winning. It's too soon for Thunder to lose, but Serena's just kicking so much ass right now, I don't know.
I'm not going to hate whatever ending that they come up with. It's gonna be a good match. But the build has not been good so far.
And it's only been 1 week. They have time to right this ship.
They do.
Speaking of women's matches, ROH World Championship Unification match to crown one and only champion Mercedes Martinez and Deonna Purrazzo. This match was okay, but for as good as Deonna was, I don't know what, if it just didn't have enough time or what the deal was.
Didn't
I
help
know.
that the crowd did not give a shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
if this was like an opener contest, this actually would have been okay. But the fact that it was a main event, I'm like, it's not that I don't care for a women's main event. It's like literally, I
They
didn't
didn't give you
care
a
about
reason
either
to
or.
care.
No,
And I like
they
how they're
actually
like,
didn't give you
I
a
like
reason
how
to
they're like,
care.
oh my God, we're gonna stay with this match until the conclusion. We're not gonna go off the air, and like it literally lasts 1 more minute.
It literally just never gave me a reason to care. It was, oh hey, last week the ROH Women's Championship's going to get unified. Awesome. Oh hey, it's gonna be the main event. What?
Yeah.
And
And
I,
literally,
that
the
was it.
Wardlow Morrissey match would have been a better main event. And imagine just like Wardlow trying to go out. Literally,
I will say
that
this,
ending. Listen here, like this ending, the ending of him like running through security. That literally could have been your way to cap off what was a mediocre Dynamite.
I agree with what you're saying because the Wardlow MJF thing is one of the best things they're doing right now. And I completely agree with you. However, you would have a lot of people on Twitter angry like, oh, so you've reduced the women's championship to this? So it's kind of like a Leslie Knope situation. I say that, if you watch Parks and Recreation, it's like that woman has her heart in every right place for everybody.
I don't watch Parks and Rec.
And then she watch it. They'll change your life. It's a great show. And she
That's
does
the same people that tell me to watch The Office, and I still say no.
Exactly, it'll change your life. It's a great show. It's another great reason to have Peacock. Anyway, that woman, like, in the show, like, will do everything right. Everything that should make everybody happy. Like, okay, and then this goes here. But, like, we're respecting the women's division here, and we're doing this, and we're doing this. And then she goes to a town hall meeting, and somebody's like, why did this should have been main event? And she's like, but I did this. Like, well, that's not good enough. So I will say in defense of AEW, they're kind of like, well, if they didn't make it the main event, there'd be a lot of people pissed off that, like, oh, they're further shooting on the women's division by, like, making it a nothing match. So at least by this, it did put that it's a big deal by putting it in the main event. But on the flip side, they didn't put enough. They didn't really do the promos and the build-up and make you really feel the stakes of this match to the point where you're like, yes, this is the main event.
Well, I mean, they have every capability to do that. I think that I know this is going to be a groundbreaking statement. We're all AEW fans, and so all we do is sit at home and just like watch wrestling and the internet. So obviously, we all know who Deonna Purrazzo is and her whole life story, even though she's never been on an episode of AEW anything in her life.
Never.
So we all know everything. There was no need to really, really, really introduce her to your crowd.
No, you should know. Like somebody told me on Twitter, it's not AEW's job to spoon feed you. Get your ass on the internet.
It is literally AEW's job to set up storylines and progressions and make a compelling match.
If WWE told you get your ass on the internet and find out, you'd say fuck you, WWE.
And I, being the unbiased internet hating elder millennial, will also tell anyone who tells me to get on the internet and do my homework for a fucking TV show to kiss my whole entire ass.
Yeah. I do want to point out Miss Ace put a great comment there. Jeff Hardy, it'll be a special night. See you next week. Want to shoot that again? That's fine. That's about how I felt about it. Yep.
My favorite part personally was at 12 minutes into the entire show, JR is making a comment of, we're into the deep water, folks.
He didn't make a comment about deep water 55 minutes into Danielson and Hangman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it the deep water because it's Jeff and anything past 10 minutes, he's, sucking so much air that the floor seats are beginning to, have oxygen deprivation? Is that it? I don't know if Rosa said it's okay. We know how we're promo, or she said I'll emphasize deep. They could have planned it. Yeah. they need more time, then they should save for pay-per-view and then try to do one of those big matches on free DVD. Yeah, I just, I think it's hilarious. They're like, every time they're like, we have an overrun, and then it just ends up being...
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going to stay at this match as long as, like, oh, hey, cool, is Mercedes and Deanna going to get... They're going to get like an extra 10 minutes. They're really going to let this storyline play out. Is this going to be like a pay-per-view main event? Nope, it ends at 9:01 p.m.
I will trade you. AEW. Go hard cut at 9 p.m. Don't go to picture-in-picture. For once in your life, don't go to picture-in-picture in a women's match. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'll trade you.
Yeah.
Probably cheaper that way.
Yep. It's I said it last week. And last week was a good episode. I'm not connected with AEW right now. And I'm planning on going to one, we're going to one, possibly 2 shows this summer.
Probably 2 shows.
Yeah. If the other one is where we think it's gonna be 2 shows. And like it's just kinda like, okay. This will be fun. We're gonna have a good time. Like, I was more excited for Grandel Wrestling, which was an amazing show and was a special night. I was more excited about that than possibly going to All Out this year.
I'm more excited for the NWA to come back to St. Louis right now than I am about
AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get a lot of, NWA sucks. You're a homer independent. Like, at athletic_geek, tell me how much I suck. Please. Let me heard. But I just fail to see why we need to be like so enamored and in awe of AEW right now, objectively. We might have... We didn't get a solid answer on that, Caleb. We just talked to some... We talked to some guys who know some guys who are kind of big deals in the NWA at Squared Circle.
Somebody may or may not have said that they really liked the turnout and that they're really hoping to make that a returning event.
And a landmark and make our area, our city, Davey Richards, kind of a hub for the NWA. We're not gonna name drop too much, but we heard this from some people who know some people in the NWA.
Somebody just had a treasure trove of information.
Yeah. And I don't know, like maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe I am out of touch. But maybe I am a bad AEW fan. It's not, going back. I've been called a bad Notre Dame fan. I've been called a bad Cardinals fan. I know what it's like for whenever you're not like over the top blindly following something to be called a bad fan. Is that the case with AEW right now? I don't know. But all I am going to say is, and my favorite things in wrestling are still in AEW. I love Blackpool Combat Club. I love what they're doing with Wardlow. I am becoming a bigger fan of Jade Cargill more and more every day. But
You forgot Ricky.
But for the last 2 years, Ricky Rudd, yeah, he was great.
Ricky Starks.
No, Ricky Rudd, man, that was the Rooster. Got shafted out of the Hall of Fame again this year.
I think we can start calling him the Rooster.
No, the Ricky Rudd is the Rooster.
Wait, are we talking the Red Rooster?
That's Terry Taylor. For 2 years, I was emotionally invested with everything about Hangman Adam Page. And you know what? Now, like, I'm like, what did I get invested in? That's not a knock on Hangman. It's a knock on how Hangman's been portrayed. And now we're thinking, oh, let's turn him. The most invested I'd been into a good guy wrestler in I don't know how long. Well, let's just turn him now. If that's what you're saying, then you're not doing things right. I'm sorry, you're not. You have the best tag team, the best tag team division in wrestling, and tag team wrestling can be main events. Oh, okay, what the fuck have your champs been doing? When have they been when have those belts been booked like they mean something? It's not been since the Young Bucks have held them. And even then, that's kind of debatable whether it meant something when they held them. I know, I just bashed the Young Bucks. I'm not supposed to do that. Ball's in AEW's court. The Notre Dame football program can't recruit the way that they probably could to compete with other schools, but AEW can change their booking. AEW can get this right. They've had it right before in the past. There's nothing stopping them from going back to being right there.
Well, there's one thing stopping them from going back to being right.
Cody not being there?
Yeah, Cody signed a multi-year deal with somebody else.
Oh, that's true. Ooh, now you're really pissing people off because you're saying Cody had something to do with AEW being good, and that's a Cardinal sin.
Hey, Cardinal.
Ooh, Nick Aldis versus Davey Richards would be incredible.
That would be fantastic.
GCW coming to St. Louis is exciting. We might go to that one. I don't think I'd be able to flip off Nick Gage like I did at Glory Pro.
TBD, because the Forbidden Door tickets weren't super cheap.
Yeah, that too.
And that whole trip is not going to be cheap.
We will be skipping Warrior Wrestling because that is just way too fucking expensive for an independent show. And if their way of trying to sell me on that independent show is Will Ospreay, then you're really not doing a good job. Yeah. But I don't know. That's pretty much it. I don't like feeling this way about AEW. I want to have the same excitement that I did a year ago for this company, but it's not there. And I'll be like until they get like WCW or TNA awful. I'll as long as they give me something I really like, I'll still watch. As long as they let me have fun live events, I'll watch it. But just it is what it is. CCW, who's all gonna be there May 28th? Because I would like to go back to CCW. But yeah, that's it for me. If you enjoyed, which you probably didn't if you like AEW, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content. Follow me on my social media pages to tell me how wrong I am and how much I suck. And I'm a Cody mark and an NWA mark and a boomer and a closet WWE fan and all that good stuff. And yeah. I'll check that out. I haven't really had time to look, but I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, Facebook.com/AthleticGeekA9. I gave you the Twitter earlier. Instagram, AthleticGeekA9. And yeah, anybody else got social media?
You can follow me at the Twitter at Eric Zarns, ErikZarins. If you're going to be in Indianapolis on Memorial Day weekend, come check me out at the Indy 500s. And I've also decided that I am not going to Forbidden Door because one, I forgot to get tickets during the sale, and two, if you look at prices right now, yeah, no. So instead, I will be at the Detroit show, the post Forbidden Door aftermath, which actually should be intriguing. So, and at least that's Danhausen's hometown. So hopefully, for the love of God, I want to watch Danhausen wrestle.
We got to
And if
see
you're into
Danhausen wrestle.
He types
And
me
if you're
with a
into
god.
I know. And if you're into monster trucks, Monster Dam's coming to Cleveland July 2nd. If you want to come and say hey.
And CJ, do you have social media that you want made public? I know Nick has. Nick is on MySpace at Daniel Bryan or Brian Danielson's Daniels and Bryan's.
I think I still have a MySpace somewhere, but I also have a Twitter at CJTMall0.
Yep. So
Tell
definitely
me how old and out of touch I am. It's fine.
Say okay, boomer, and
Elder millennial.
yeah, call us boomers and tell us that we don't know what we're talking about, and
I will tell you of the Tickle Me Elmo scenarios and how to dial a phone that's not in your pocket.
Now you just sound like CJ Hausen.
I do count the
she's
human
very evil.
monies.
She has human monies that can be very evil.
I count the human monies to earn my blimps.
Tell me more things like my favorite today is I should take Dave Meltzer's rings more seriously. That was my fun one from today. But for CJ and Easy, we're just Marks and we're out. Have a good one. All right.